Unit 1 is going to focus on functions and graphing. So the first thing that we need to do is review how to graph an equation. And the way that we're going to review is with the t-chart. It's really helpful if you know how to graph all of the functions quickly and easily. A t-chart is the way that you can graph any function. The problem with the t-chart is that depending on the function, you may not get a complete idea of what it looks like just based on the t-chart, because you also need to know the correct values to choose for your t-chart. So when you're given a function f of x equals x squared minus 3x, and you see the highest power is 2, I hope that you automatically think I'm going to be graphing something that looks like a parabola. In fact, not something that looks like a parabola, we are graphing a parabola. So keep that in mind and then think about maybe where that vertex might be. Because if you don't choose t-chart values around your vertex, you're not going to get a parabola when you're done. You're going to think maybe you ended up with a line. One way to kind of help is if you find the intercepts. So if we factor this, we know that setting it equal to 0 will give us our x-intercepts, and our vertex will have to be somewhere in between those x-intercepts. So that's a way to start figuring out the values for our t-chart. So setting that first term equal to 0, or x minus 3 equals 0, which would give us another x-intercept of 3. So I'm going to create a t-chart from -1 to 4, and that will give me an idea of what is going on with this graph. And we already know that when x is 0, y is 0, and when x is 3, y is 0. So we really only have 4 values that we're going to substitute into our function to find the y value, or the f of x value for. Substituting -1, using function notation to help you remember what to do with it. So we're going to replace x with -1 every time we see it. We get 1 plus 3 is 4. Evaluating the function at 1, we get 1 squared minus 3 times 1. 1 minus 3 is -2. Evaluating the function at 2, 2 squared minus 3 times 2. We get 4 minus 6 is -2. And finally, evaluating the function at 4, we get 4 squared minus 3 times 4. 16 minus 12 is 4. So what we know is that we're going to have a turning point somewhere between 1 and 2, probably halfway between. That'll give us our vertex. Other than that, we're just going to plot the points. So starting with -1, 4, 0, 0, 1, -2, 2, -2, 3, 0, and 4, 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to approximate where that vertex is when I draw my parabola, and I'll just have a little bump in between those 2 points. Next, what you're going to want to do is pull out your vocab sheet for Unit 1. The next slide is not in your notes. We're going to go over vocab, and then you'll jump back to the notes parts with the next example.